Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and this is All Intuitive Conversation. Aloha, everyone. Welcome to All Intuitive Conversations. So, experiencing daily all allows us to have better work life happiness, social connections. And so, I'm excited to be having an all intuitive conversation with my first couple. So, welcome to the stage, Mariah and Brian. Aloha.
Hi, thank you, Felicia. It's
Thank you
wonderful to
for
be
the
here.
opportunity. Wonderful to be with you today.
Yes. So this was a great opportunity because, like I said, you guys are my first couple. So, but with that, that means you guys must be doing business together, right? So tell me, what does that look like and what do you guys do?
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Well, oddly enough, we have written a book together. We're collaborators. I mean, we're collaborators in life. We decided finally to take Mariah's content and my meager writing and editing skills, and we have written a book titled "Journey Well, You Are More Than Enough."
Mm, loving that. Tell me more. Continue.
Okay, I'm going to let Mariah tell you our tagline.
Well, because we believe that everybody should be lifted up and that we all feel, and just like in your recent book and work, we know that when we elevate other people, that we're able to create kind of an energy. And so we say rediscover your passion, purpose, and love of yourself and life.
That's what it's all about.
Okay. So great topic, great concept.
Mhm.
Where did it come from?
Where did it come from? That's everybody's next question. Where did you get this idea? Well,
Yes. Mhm.
even the other thing, Felicia, is that people tend to wonder why we did this right now because there's so much disruption in the world. There's so much negativity, and people are so anxious. Well,
Mhm.
we figured this is the perfect time to put a book out like this because our book, Journey Well, You Are More Than Enough, affirms people. And
Mm.
as we tell people, Mariah and I spent our entire professional careers raising people up. And so we're just going to continue doing that. That's what we do.
Yeah, and some people might not know this, but Byron was a professional helicopter pilot where he did many different things, but one of the hats was air medical. And so he took patients on air medical flights when they were in a critical situation in a very difficult time of life. And I was also in a lifting profession where I was a registered nurse. Still am a nurse, but now I've shifted to helping people through awareness and helping them to understand there's a lot of abundance around them if they can see it. And a lot of times we're not able to see it because we're looking at all the crises and all the social media and all the news that comes at us, especially during the pandemic. It has been overwhelming and exhausting for people. And so, one thing that we want to do is we want to continue to lift people up. We want to continue to raise people to know that they actually, there's a lot of awe intuitiveness out there.
Yeah,
We
that's
just
right.
have to grab a hold of it.
Mhm.
And when we
Yes.
reach our hand out and pull somebody up, it helps us as people and it helps them. So this is where we came from, and this is why we're doing it.
Yes. Okay. So I was already shuffling when you guys were talking. And so Archangel Uriel
Oh, look
came
at that.
out.
Okay, the seventh chakra.
Yes.
Okay.
Seventh chakra in the crown chakra. Are you familiar with Archangel Uriel?
A little
A
bit, but
little
tell
one.
us more.
Yeah, really.
So it talks about spirit connections, intuition, and inspiration. It says the beautiful angel Uriel is also called the fire god, wears a brilliant crystal crown vibrating with passionate connections to the divine. She brings great power to your seventh energy center, which is called the crown chakra and is located at the top of your head. So when you guys were both talking about you guys lift people up and all that, like I was like, yes, you want them to have their head raised, be encouraged, all those different things. I was like, okay, totally aligning with that. This card upright indicates an opening and free flowing channel of information and inspiration from the wonderful beings in the spirit world. This could also be a time of great intuition for you and guidance from your higher awareness. So allow yourself to quiet your mind and listen. Now is a great time to get connected, which lines with why are you doing this book now? Like during all of this time, right? Because now is this great time to get connected. The assistance from spirit is great. And whether it's the presence of an ascended master, a powerful angel like Uriel, or just a loving friend or family member in spirit, which I'm going to categorize that with you guys, a loving friend in spirit. And now I'm also realizing, I just got to chill, that why it was a couple, because you guys are basically symbolic of that, of having support from others to go through this journey of life with you. It says their loving willingness to assist is always there. They even open you up to the Akashic records, the storehouse of all information. This connection is open now, and you will find that your own spirit and the spirits of those around you will be able to provide the answers you seek and the blessings you desire and deserve. So it's like, yes, no wonder. Came right along to connect with you guys. Okay.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yes. So you guys do this, professionally, and you're working together. Mm-hmm. So what does it look like in your marriage?
That's a fun question.
Yeah, that is a fun question. Yeah.
We're fortunate because we are best friends, and we have an open communication where we just bounce things off of each other, and we always have. But I will tell you that the book project itself has let us become even more bonded. Mm-hmm. Just interesting things have come out of it from our childhood that we didn't know about each other. And just looking at things such as, one thing that's in the book is about boundaries and about things that may have been baggage that we're carrying along from our childhood or our youth. And I'll tell you, it's interesting because the longer you're with somebody, you think you might know everything about them, but we've learned a few things that were new to us, and it's bonded us even closer.
Yeah.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
Mariah, what did you learn new about Byron? And premise this. How long you guys been together?
Forever.
Okay, so y'all I get it, soulmates.
Actually, yeah. And it's interesting because we celebrate every month because our relationship is an amazing one. And this month it'll be 264 months, and which is 22 years. We've been married.
Congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. So yeah, you're permitted to tell my confessional story.
Well, yeah. Okay, I'll let you off the hook this time. But, one of the things that we try to emphasize in the book, Felicia, and by the way, thank you, Laura. Laura Staley is with our good friend Laura is here. Yes. And she has a line in one of her books that I just love this line. She says, "May you become the person your heart knows you are." And I think I'm paraphrasing there, but that's the idea. So thanks, Laura, for that. Anyway, back to our book. 4 principles that we try to focus on, and they are awareness, abundance, choices, and decisions.
Okay, wait, slow down. I'm gonna write that down because I want to look at that. Awareness, abundance,
choices,
okay,
and decisions. Yeah.
Decisions. Okay.
Because we kind of elaborate and expand on those principles. And the last one, decisions, we try to. I mean, I don't want to simplify people have real tragedies in their lives and really negative things happen to them. We acknowledge that. But a lot of what happens to us, a lot of what we do and the actions we take are choices. And they come from the choices we make and the mindset that we have acquired over the years. We have a mindset, and it takes us various directions. but we also have to acknowledge that we make choices every day. And so that's what we try to focus on in the book. And aside from that, it's a very affirming, a very uplifting book. It'll make you feel better when you read it. That's all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so then thinking about the book,
Mhm.
describe your reader. Who would pick up your book to read it? What are they going through?
Well, actually, it's interesting because we have the same thoughts as you guys when you wrote your book too. The breath framework, how that has impacted so many people. And when we can come together as a collective community and raise people up when they are having some difficulties. I don't want to say everybody's struggling because that's not necessarily true. But what is true is there are many of us that are looking for a better, brighter world instead of the negativity that we see kind of tossed at us every day. And especially, I can think of one thing that was kind of fun was early on in the pandemic when we were all very fearful, very scattered. We weren't sure what was going on or what was happening. And someone, and I'm not going to get his last name right because he did Some Good News, and it's John
Kaczynski, I think is his
Kaczynski.
name. Yeah.
And he took and had people write to him and found stories of hope.
Yeah.
And found things that were good that were happening in communities.
Yeah.
And really lifted people's spirits. And we saw that and thought, this is exactly what people need to feel. They need to know there is hope. There is positivity in the world, and there is still abundance. As a matter of fact, you have the same abundance where you are that we have, and that also everyone else who's watching this does. And that's an abundance of air to breathe.
Yes.
And none of us are fearful of not having air to breathe right now. It's not something that's crossing anyone's mind, but it's there. And if we find out we can look for something that's there already, that's within our ability to harness that power within and realize. And another thing that we say in the book is that you are more than enough already. You have that within you. If we can unpack that, get rid of the baggage that we're dragging along, and lift each other up, lift ourselves up, it changes our energy. It changes who we are and how we present in the world. So this is
Yes.
one of the main themes is that,
We might say it's awe intuitive.
yeah,
Well, again, you guys are right in alignment because when you were sharing the story about the gentleman and then what you guys were inspired to do, the other card that came out was about the theme of conviction, and the trigger statement that people would be experiencing is, "No one listens to me." The true statement is, "My voice is heard." It says, "Stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you have to share." And it's like you guys were inspired by somebody going and getting people's voices, their ability to share, and then turned that around in order to have people to be able to share their voices, which is, encouraging to them. So again, you're right in alignment with your work. So I'm loving that.
personal journeys.
Well, it is, yeah. And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up because at the end of each chapter of Journey Well, You Are More Than Enough, we have had the great good fortune of having contributions from several people who have, in fact, Laura Staley is one of those people. And they have given us wonderful, vulnerable, human stories that characterize each one of those chapters. And so we've been really, really fortunate to, and one of the things let me give you an aviation analogy because that's my background. Aviation is a collaboration. No pilot ever got an aircraft and took off by him or herself. We depend on a whole lot of other people, the mechanics, in my case, the flight nurses and the support staff. And writing is a lot like that as well. And in this book, we were incredibly fortunate that we had a lot of people collaborate with us to make this book what it was and as strong as it is. And so we're really, really thankful to them for doing that. Thank you, Laura. Must have got Laura on here.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's one of those things that, which is an example like this, like we co-create these experiences with other individuals. Like we're not here just on our own. And like you said, you had this opportunity to allow people to share their stories and their voices. And so I'm so glad that you guys, did that work in order to make that happen. What is your insight? Because I know you talk about awareness, abundance, choices, and decisions. What does it look like for someone who has difficulty sharing their story and communicating? Like, what words of encouragement would you say to someone?
Yeah, we get that question a lot. So thanks for bringing that up.
Mhm.
Oop.
Yeah.
I
Motorcycle.
tell them
It's important. Yes, we want to know.
to whatever. Yeah, we tell them that, first of all, one of the basic premises of the book, as we started, awareness, is the string of letters or string of words I just gave you. It's too easy these days, we think, to just default to the negative and the fact that the world is really a disrupted place and everything's uncertain. That's the default these days.
Mm,
But if we take the time to discern and become aware, in other words, of just the abundance that's out there, it makes for a better life. You can do that for yourself. And again, we're not going to oversimplify. Some people have real tragedies in their lives. We don't want to dismiss that. That's not our purpose.
mhm,
Um, Abundance is all around us, and it's hard to see sometimes unless we try to make to become aware of it and to make an effort to really recognize that the world is
mm,
getting better, and it's getting better for a lot of people, most people. And so I guess that's where I would start with that discussion. Yeah.
mm. Cool.
Mhm.
What about you, Mariah?
Well, one thing that I've found, and I'm sure you have too, with LinkedIn, and are you on other social media or mostly
Yes.
LinkedIn?
Mhm,
So it's probably this way across all social media platforms where people have opinions about everything in life. And so
mhm,
even though someone might say one thing, there might be 10 other people who disagree. And so
mm,
we all know that that happens out there in the world. And that is the start of people picking at themselves because, oh, I wasn't good enough, or oh, I didn't get enough likes, or oh, my post didn't do this, or all these little kind of voices that we hear and we grab onto. And once
mhm.
we're able to look at that and say, huh, this might be something I want to take a closer look at, perhaps I could do some unpacking of my own baggage. Why do I feel
Yes.
that way about that? What triggers that in me when that's said? So we invite the reader to kind of take a deeper dive into seeing what is going on there. And when we wrote the book, we actually each separately did this, where we took and kind of wrote out different things to see where that would take us, what kind of a journey that would take us on. And we found some things that we had buried over the years ourselves. And
Mm,
it gave us a great opportunity to look at everything and say, is this part of my imposter? Or is this part of my inner critic? Or is this part of my authentic self today? And because of that, we grew. And that is the journey we like people to come on. And in the guidebook, because Journey Well You Are More Than Enough has a book and then a guidebook that accompanies it.
Yeah. An
So
online
people
course.
can do exercises there. And then there's also an online course that accompanies it too. And we encourage people to go ahead and utilize these exercises and walk these steps themselves. And at
mhm.
the end of it, it's a wonderful journey that you find you're able to, if you follow these steps, you're able to find a little bit closer of who that person is inside.
Okay. Loving that. So you connected with two things that I wanted to bring out. When you were talking about how we look at social media and we're like, how, the likes, do we get them? It reminded me of my conversation that we had with a past guest, Patty. And that was like her revelation. And she was like, she was posting and doing all these different things, but there wasn't necessarily the likes and the hearts and the comments. And she had one of her people say, hey, I read everything that you put in there. I just don't like, I don't comment, but I'm reading every single one. And she went on that journey as well of, is this for me or is it really about them? Right. Yeah. So, that whole interplaying of that. And so the second thing, you were using the words see and look a lot. So that reminded me back to my other guest that where he touted your ability to teach him about mirror work.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful man. I love him.
Indeed, he is. And so Laura also said during that time, courage and vulnerability can also be important to sharing one's story so you can journey well. Yes. Indeed. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you, Laura, for engaging with us. Okay. So I don't want to release us because I want to know about this mirror work. So Mariah, somebody's out there what is mirror work? What is that? Tell me more. How do I do it?
Okay. So mirror work is a beautiful exercise that I learned many years ago through Louise Hay. And when we lived on the island of Kauai, it was such a spiritual place that I just took on that mana there. It was just magical. And it was about that time that I read her work about mirror work. And it was something that touched me deep inside. And I've found over the years, Felicia, if I fall away from that, it's like brushing your teeth. They kind of feel grungy after a while. You wouldn't want to do that.
Like,
exactly.
I need to go gargle or brush my teeth. Yes, floss.
So I found that if I can really look inside my soul, and I use mirror work, and what it is where you look deep inside yourself, where you look in the mirror, you look in your eyes, and you connect on a very deep level, and you say this sincerely. Now, initially, for people, if this is the first time you're hearing about mirror work, it can be challenging. It feels a little weird, it feels uncomfortable, but you say, I love you, and your name, and you just look deeply within your soul. And it takes progressive work. And after a time, when you really start incorporating that, you begin to realize it's true. I do love myself. I am a beautiful person. I am an amazing person.
Yes, you are.
And we have that ability to own that. And once we start owning that, it changes who we are, and it changes how we relate to other people. It gives us a more spiritual outlook on our life, and it gives us more generosity, more kindness to ourselves initially, but to others.
Yes, loving that. And so is Cherise. That it showed up LinkedIn user, but I know I can tell from my other scenes. She says, I'm absolutely loving this conversation, soaking up like the sun. So that is Cherise. Thank you, Cherise, for joining us live. And we're so glad that you're joining us.
Let me expand on what Mariah said just a moment, just a second. You talked about what we tell people who need this book. One of the chapters we address past missteps and past mistakes and so forth. And we don't want to oversimplify, but we write a whole chapter on the way we can look at those past events differently and re-perceive them and realize that whatever we've done in our past has brought us right where we are right now. And that's usually stronger and more mature and more self-aware. So that's always a good thing.
Indeed it is. But with that, what I love is that what Mariah was talking about, acknowledging that it may be challenging. It may be a little difficult. Like I said, it's not something that we are used to validating in ourselves, right? Especially the I love you part. A lot of times people are looking for someone else to say that about them. Oh, I love you, and validating that versus when they're saying it to themselves, that I love you. Sometimes we chalk that up to, oh, they're conceited or whatever the case may be, and it's like, no,
No.
it's recognizing my higher self and who I am. Like, I love you, Felicia. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
That's
yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recognizing who that is.
That's right. Self-affirmation. So,
Yes.
okay.
So you guys have blessed. I mean, people already, because like I said, with the conversations and the hearts that you guys are getting. So it's interesting that I wanted to wrap up with a blessing for each of you of a word of encouragement to connect. And these are words for men and one for women based. So with that, we'll talk about Byron's blessing. So Byron says, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9.
Okay. Mahalo. Mahalo.
Mahalo, you're yes. And then for Mariah, let's see, here are the blessings. Says the Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. Though you stumble, they will never fall, for the Lord holds them by the hand. Psalms 37:23-24. Yes, yes. And Laura is recognizing the higher self and saying I love you to yourself. Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And one of the connections that I didn't realize that we had together was us both having, this love for Hawaii, having once lived there, myself and your ties to talk about Kauai, that one of the things that we talk about meditation is Ho'oponopono. And that is the reconciliation phrase. Because like I said, we talk about all these different things, how we can come back practically. And Ho'oponopono is a reconciliation when you basically are out of alignment, as I say, with your higher self and with God. Yeah. And it simply is saying these 4 phrases: I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Am I allowed to tell her that you used to talk to the turtles?
Oh, yes, please. We're all into spirit animals. Yes, please.
That was her spirit animal, yeah.
So this book, you asked about the journey, and it was actually one of the last lessons that I received on the island of Kauai. I was sitting at the breakwall, and I had seen turtles once in a while, one or so come. And the last day that I was going to be at the breakwall, there were 6 of them that came, and they actually came up to where I was, and they left me with a message. And I knew, there was no doubt there was a message in it. And it said, you are the vessel. You have information to pass on and share, and it is your duty to do so. And that was 15 years ago, actually 16 years ago now. And I have been holding that message and studying and learning and doing deeper dive. So when I started this journey, I knew that I was being supported by many, many spiritual people that I've studied under, and many spiritual people that have gone from this life, and they've transitioned. But I know that I carry their message forward.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which goes back to the whole "my voice is heard, stand strong and communicate your message. The world is ready to receive what you have to share."
What we're talking about.
So the Hanu are with me.
Are with us. Yes. Yes.
Indeed, they are. Indeed.
I should mention that Journey Well, You Are More Than Enough, the book, the guidebook, and the online course will be available at Amazon and at Udemy for the course very, very soon.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to you, and thank you for doing those tasks and action steps to be able to share that message with the world. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for engaging with us and co-creating this whole experience with us. It has been amazing opportunity, and I do hope you were encouraged and continue to live smart and ascend to new levels of success in your career and your your personal lives. So thank you for joining me. Thank
Mahalo.
you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Mariah and Brian, hold on for the outro.
Thank you.